in an operating system. Okay. And this particular slide, it shows the different system calls for Windows operating system and Unix operating system. So for under process control, Windows uses the system called create process to create a new process. Unix uses fork to create a new process. Windows uses exit process to exit from a process, and Unix uses exit. And Windows uses wait for single object to to make a process to wait for a particular period of time, or for an event to occur, whereas Unix uses the system called wait. Similarly, for file manipulation, to create a file, Windows uses create file, Unix uses open, and Windows uses read file to read the content of a file. Unix uses the system called read, and Windows uses write file to write contents to a file, and Unix uses write, and Windows uses close handle to close a file pointer, and Unix uses close. Okay, like these are the different system calls that are used by Windows and Unix. Okay, so 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 all these are self-explanatory. You can go through. So for communication, you can see Windows uses create pipe. So pipe represents socket. Okay, socket. So Windows is calling it as a pipe. Okay, and Unix uses pipe to create a socket or a connection between two processes. And Windows uses create file mapping, okay, for mapping one file to another. And Unix uses shmget. And Windows uses a system called map view of file, and Unix uses yummap. Okay. And for protections, Windows uses this system called set file security. Okay, sets file security, whereas Unix uses chmod. So chmod is used to provide access, read, write, or execute access. Windows uses a system called initialize security descriptor. Unix uses umask. Windows uses a system called set security descriptor group for a group of users setting security, and Unix uses chown. Okay, so like this, these are the different system calls used by Windows, and these are the different system call used under Unix. And again, this diagram shows how a system call get invoked through an API. So here there is a simple C program, and it uses an API printf. And this printf is connected with the system called write. This printf is connected with the system called write. So this is to print something into the screen or the standard output device. And actually that is performed by the system called write. So then it maps to the standard C library, and it identifies that when it is executing from standard C library, it will identify that the API printf refers to the write system call. So the write system call will be invoked, and whatever the operation is given, it will be done, and the result will be transferred to this particular user program. This particular diagram, it shows how an MS-DOS operating system works. MS-DOS operating system is an example for single user operating system. Okay, so initially when you start MS-DOS operating system, it will look like this. So the memory will look like this. At the bottom layer, you will have the kernel, and then you will have the command interpreter, and then there will be free memory. Okay, so in command interpreter is the place where you can type commands. This is the place where you can type commands. So this is a single user operating system or single process operating system. It can execute only one process. Now if you type any command, that particular process alone will execute. You cannot run more than one process. There will be only one process. And the command interpreter also, you can see, not the full command interpreter will be running when any process is running. Only some minimal part of the command interpreter will be running. Again, once this process terminates, now the full command interpreter will come up, and again you'll do the next command. Again, that command will execute. So this is how the the MS-DOS operating system works. It is a single tasking system. The command interpreter is nothing but shell. Shell is invoked when the system is booted. It can it can run only one process at a time. There will be only one memory space. You cannot have multiple processes with multiple memory space, and it loads program into memory. And when a new process comes, everything will be overwritten except the kernel and some part of the command interpreter. So if the while program when the program exits, again the shell is nothing but the command interpreter that will be reloaded. When this process exits, once again this command interpreter will be fully loaded. Here you can see it is not fully loaded, it is only partially loaded. The program can exit either in normal way or in abnormal way. Okay. Whereas this FreeBSD, this is one Unix variant kind of operating system. It is a multitasking operating system. Here multiple programs can reside, multiple processes can reside in the memory simultaneously. And new processes were created by using fork system call, and new processes were loaded and executed by using execute system call. So here you can see there is a kernel. The kernel is that is the core part of the operating system, that is FreeBSD, and then there are multiple processes in the memory. Okay, so more than one process can reside, and the shell, it can either wait for the process to terminate or it can continue with user commands. That is up to the user. Say kernel, say from the shell user is giving one command, then he may wait for the process to execute, or if he parallelly want to run another command also he can execute. Okay, so basically it will support multiple process. You can see there is kernel and there is process B, interpreter, process C, process D, and there are some main memory, there are some free memory. So multiple process can stay in the memory simultaneously. Okay. And here process can exit either normally or abnormally. If it exits normally, the error code will be 0. For abnormal error code, the error code will be something greater than 0. So that's it about today's discussion.